hopes.
Please sit. Can you just put the presentation on? Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Welcome to Supervisory Academy Class 21 graduation and presentation of our answer to our charge. I'd like to start by welcoming you and thanking on behalf of the team, our managers and senior leadership team, for giving us this opportunity. I'd also like to thank Karen Powell for putting this all together and making it possible for us to do this and always challenging us to do better. I'd like to thank Michael, our instructor, for the last 3 weeks for putting up with us. And most of all, I would like to thank the team. I would like to thank you for allowing me to be your project team leader, for all the hard work you put in, and for the great result that we are about to show this group. Before we move on, we're going to do a quick safety message, and that's going to be given by John Cortese.
Good morning, everybody. Before we get started, I'd just like to touch on a few safety logistics. For all of you who aren't aware, there's 3 emergency exits here. We've got one to the right, one in the rear, and then one to my left. There's fire extinguishers in every hallway. There's emergency defibrillator in the hall to my left. The bathrooms, if you need a bathroom, it's behind the auditorium through either door. You can go out there. And also, when you get to leave, just please push your chair in so no one trips on it. Also, when you're going to leave out the parking lot, just check around your car and make sure you're not too close to someone because they might have tried to squeeze into a parking lot. And when you're exiting, please don't make a left-hand turn because there's a sign posted there and it's a dangerous intersection. So make a right-hand turn. If you need to get to 287, just go down to the 3rd traffic light and make a right, and that'll bring you right to 287. Hope you enjoy our program, and thank you.
Forgot to introduce myself, so I'm going to backtrack a little. I'm Sarah Bowl. I'm a Senior Operations Supervisor at Power Connecticut. And at this time, I'd like to ask Karen Powell to come up and make some remarks.
Somehow a microphone that we all remember being here has mysteriously disappeared. So we're going to try to talk loud so that everybody can hear us. And I hope you could hear Sarah. And we'll do the best we can without a microphone. The only microphone Mark stole, the one at the back of the room, so that he could get this all on video camera. I'm kidding. He didn't steal it. But we always videotape this so that we can put it out on YouTube for the graduates so they can actually see the graduation ceremony. With that, I'm going to go ahead, and it is my pleasure as a program manager to have a chance to thank the people that make this academy a success. And I want to start out with our executive sponsor, Sheila Rostiak, who's the Vice President of Talent Management and Diversity. And she has spent a lot of hours with this class over the last 3 weeks, giving really good advice and feedback, and we really appreciate that, Sheila. And also to thank Peggy Pago, the Chief Human Resources Officer, who's sitting in the wrong place. She's supposed to be down here, but she's back up there. Peggy is the executive sponsor, ongoing, of leadership development, and she always visits the academy a few times while we're in session, and of course speaks and answers questions, and we really appreciate that too, Peggy. And then if you look at your program for just a minute, on the back page, there are some people I would like to thank, and you see the executive speakers in the order of appearance, and we have some of them here today, thankfully, John Paul and Bob Braun. See if I'm missing anybody else. Mike Pazinski right here, and Sheila and Peggy. This is a really important part of the academy to the students, is to have a chance to hear our executive officers how aligned they are on PSEG strategy and the initiatives, and they get a chance to actually ask them questions and to interact with them. And probably in your whole career, you don't have a chance to hear this many executives in this short period of time and actually be able to ask them questions and solicit advice from them. So we really thank them for all the time they spent with us. Then, if you go on down, I'd like to thank Michael Kammerdiener, who is our instructor extraordinaire, who delivers all of the content. And the students, I think, have found him to be really inspiring in some of the learnings that he has given them. I'd also like to thank Karen Choi. She isn't here today, but she's done a lot of the administrative support behind the scenes. And Vic Schoenig, who is the District Manager of Appliance Services Northern Region. He led the manager meeting on Friday of the first week where we had a chance to discuss development after the academy is over. I'd also like to thank Mark Leverton at the back of the room, who takes all of our pictures at the beginning and at the end, and then helps any place he can in between, and this time did a great job with the slideshow. The last group, certainly not the least, are the managers that are here. I know it takes a lot of time and commitment for you. By the time you go to the opening ceremony and then you go to the managers meeting and come to graduation. But the good news is when your people come back to the job, they'll have new tools that will make you even more effective and efficient than you are today. This is where I really need your help now, and that's to pull the learning through. We have, after the academy, the participants know that they need to do observation reports, achievement reports at 1, 3, and 6 months. And they need your support in making sure that those reports get done, have time to do them and get done and sent in. And then I'm going to count on you again to send in your behavioral observation forms, which is the form that we talked about in the manager meeting. And it's the one where you do a 1, 3, and 6 month evaluation on how you see the behaviors and values being applied that they've learned in the academy. This is a very important documentation to us because it's our way of looking at whether we're getting a return on our training dollar and whether people are using what they learn. So I really need your help and cooperation on that. And finally, I want to thank this class that I've enjoyed working with, and you can see on the program that we have a diverse group. We have 20 supervisors, 7 nuclear, 5 PSEG, 2 PSEG Long Island, 4 fossil, and 2 services. So it's really been a diverse group, and that's one of the things that we try hard to accomplish in the academy, is that cross-pollination of first-line supervisors from company to company to company. And many of you have heard me say before that each class is unique, and this one certainly has been no different. They are very unique. We have 11 extroverts and 9 introverts, so it's pretty evenly balanced. And of course, you see that play out during the 3 weeks. One day there are group hugs, and the next day, you know, it's no, we're going to do it this way. One of the things about this class is they've had very good, what I'll call, audience skills. We talk early in the academy about a speaker up front has a message to deliver, but if you're in the audience, you have a responsibility to take in the information, take notes, and act like you're enjoying what's going on. They were really good at this. They took notes, they asked a lot of questions, and they did just very well with it. And that the questioning routine continued in other ways. It was like a root cause analysis every day. Things like, why did you seat us where you did? What was the rationale for seating this person with this person? Why did we do active listening before we did emotional intelligence? Why can't nuclear badges be activated here? Do we have to be on time every day? Why can't we have anisette cookies and powdered bat wings for our afternoon break? And on and on. It was a fun class. One other thing about the academy that works very well are the development partners that we do. And they team up with another person, and throughout the 3 weeks, that's how they hone their development plans. And then they get feedback from their development partner. And they're responsible to each other for giving feedback about everything they see their development partner do during the 3 weeks they're together. And it's just very rewarding to watch the growth that goes on. So I'm looking forward to seeing 17 of you at Nuclear next week, and 3 of you will miss, but we have a lot of good labor relations training ahead of it. With that, thanks for coming, and I'd like to introduce our class executive sponsor, Sheila Rostiak.
I'm going to come out here just to make sure without the mic folks can hear me. So good morning and welcome to graduation for class of 21. I'm going to echo a couple of the thanks you heard this morning, but I'm going to complement each of those thanks with a very specific ask. So first, to all of the executives who are here or spend time in the Academy, a tremendous amount of thanks for coming down and sharing your wisdom and experience, not only about your piece of the business, but also your leadership journey. My ask of you is that you don't reserve those teaching moments to your time in the classroom, that you make sure you are sharing that story and teaching your folks day in, day out. And seeing those executives that are here today, I know that each of you do that. I'll also echo the thanks to all the managers and leaders for making the investment and the sacrifice to allow your frontline supervisors to come spend 3 weeks with us. We know the burden that causes you on the business, but to Karen's point, it is going to pay off. My ask of you all, again, Karen will look for that reinforcement and your acknowledgement of what you have seen changed on the job. But as important, my ask is that you give these folks the room and the space to test out everything that they've learned, to encourage them when you see them uncomfortable trying new skills, and to positively reinforce that back on the job. And to my dear class of supervisors, a tremendous amount of thanks for the sacrifice you all have made away from your workplace and your teams and your families to invest this important learning time in yourself. My ask of you started at the beginning of the week, and we'll get to that again in a couple minutes. We're going to spend the next 40 minutes or so talking about 2 words we have been talking about at public service for the last 110 years. Word number 1, for my audience, what's the first word in our vision statement? People. People. Our 12,200 employees. Our millions of customers. The communities in which our pipes and wires or our plants sit, our stakeholders, our relationships at local, federal government, and regulatory agencies. Our business is built on people. Word number 2, an adjective we talk about a lot. Strong. Sounds good, sounds powerful. We talk about our strength in our financial performance. We talk about our strength in our reliability, our strength in our key relationships, our strength in the operations, which you all keep running. In 2014, at the leadership level, for the first time in those 100 years, we actually put those 2 long-standing words together in a term we've called people strong. And our purpose in that was to bring focus to these 2 very important aspects of our business to ensure PSEG has the culture and the environment to make sure we've got 100 years in the future of all of those things that we are proud of today. And so at the leadership level, we've talked about, okay, as we measure everything in this company, how do we measure the success of our culture and people strong? And in some of the materials at your desk, you're going to see a second quarter update. I'm just going to tick through very quickly. Some of our key measurements on the strength of people strong is retention. So do folks that come work for this company steep in tradition, when they come, do they feel welcome and do they stay? Or are we losing them in their first year of service? We're looking at retention overall, so I don't care if you have 1 year of service or if you have 15, or for some folks up to 40 years. But I want to make sure for those folks who are choosing to leave PSEG to work someplace else, that we're not losing any particular demographic of our company at a faster rate than we should be. I want to look at our commitment to those people that are outside of PSEG, the commitment to the community, and are our folks volunteering, contributing financial resources, ensuring we are reflecting that respect inside and outside the organization. So we're looking at our activities of our employee resource groups and how we spend our money, both out of the foundation and with suppliers. And then, of course, we'll wrap it all up at the end of this year, and then we're going to measure how are our employees feeling about what it's like to work here, and that will be in our annual engagement survey. I'm not naive. I know we spend a lot of time in tools and processes and discussions, at the leadership level, what are we doing to drive people strong across the company? But just like that financial and operational performance, it's not truly being driven by the voices at the top. The strategy's been set, the direction is there. The men and women who make it happen is our workforce, and there's no more critical intersection of those two worlds than what's represented here in our class of frontline supervisors. So my ask of this group, and I can't wait to hear the answer, is what are you all going to do as frontline supervisors to make and keep PSEG people strong? So without any further ado, I'll turn it back over to our class leader, Sarah.
Thank you, Sheila. So as Sheila just stated, the charge that she gave us to answer is, what is the role of the first line supervisor in making and keeping PSEG people strong? In order to answer this charge, the first thing that we had to do was to define what people strong meant to us. The definition that we came up as a group of first line supervisors is a community embracing diverse individuals who are committed to excellence. In order to show some of that commitment, we've made a small video. Yep. It can work.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I work for Power Chemical. People Strong. What does it mean to me?
Hi, I'm Tom, Materials Management Supervisor, Palisades Division. People Strong means I'm a valued member of PSEG's winning team.
I'm Leanne, Palisades Electric Office Supervisor. People Strong is my way of encouraging my people.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm a nuclear shift supervisor at Salem Generating Station. People Strong is raising customer confidence in PSEG.
I'm Lisa, working manager at Hope Creek Generating Station. And People Strong means proud employees and a supportive community.
My name is Michael. I'm from PSEG Long Island. I'm a field supervisor, and People Strong is my way of giving new employees the support they need.
Hello, I'm Shazad. I work in PSEG surveys and mapping. And People Strong means to me that we ensure a successful transfer of knowledge to our future workforce.
Hello, my name is Aaron Heinzel. I'm a generation supervisor at PSEG Power Academy. People Strong is embracing diversity and inclusion.
Hi, my name is Mark Pacenzi. I'm the electrical maintenance supervisor at Oak Creek Nuclear Generating Station. And People Strong means leveraging a diverse portfolio of thought.
I'm Gustavo Wall, nuclear shift supervisor at Salem Generating Station. I keep PSEG people strong by promoting a safety-conscious work environment.
My name is Felicia Butler. I'm a Northern Inquiry Supervisor in the call center. And I'm People Strong. I want my employees to not only be happy, but to stay at PSEG.
This is Supervisory Academy 21, and
We are people strong.
So now that you understand how we've defined People Strong to us as a group of frontline supervisors, we need to talk about why People Strong is important to us. And the reason that it's important to us is we want that winning team, and we want it today or yesterday, and we want to get those people in the first time in the right way from the beginning. So in order for us to do that as first-line supervisors, the first thing that we need to do is go back to our workspaces, and we need to embrace People Strong. We are inherently People Strong by the fact that we are a diverse group of people ourselves. So we need to go back, we need to take our values, our PSEG values, and we need to make it clear to our workforce that we believe in people strong. So the first thing we're going to do is start with safety. Safety is always the first commitment in PSEG, and in order for people to stay, they have to feel safe. If they don't feel safe, they're not going to stay here. Safety starts with basic things, PPE, pre-job briefs, procedures. But People Strong is going to take safety up to the next level where each individual says, I feel safe being me in my workplace. I can bring my whole self to work and I can give that full commitment to my job. The second value that we need in order to make that happen is respect. And respect also starts with self. If you respect yourself, you'll portray respect to your employees, and you're going to have a mutually respectful and open communication with each other that allows you to build the environment that People Strong is all about, to build the culture that People Strong is all about. So that's making PSEG People Strong. To keep PSEG People Strong, as frontline supervisors, we need to dive down into diversity and inclusion. We need to get that open and honest communication going. We need to make people feel like they're valued and that they're contributing. And finally, it comes down to our own integrity. We're saying we're going to do this stuff, so now we need to go walk the walk. Of course, we would like that walk to be a little easier. So, as a group of frontline supervisors, we've put together the First Line Supervisor Toolbox around People Strong. And it covers 4 areas, as you see on the screen. We're going to talk about recruiting, welcoming, advocating, and developing.
Thank you, Sarah. Morning, everyone. My name is Brian Merkel. I'm a senior supervisor at the Long Island Call Center in Melville. Today I want to talk about recruiting. Our objective is to build a stronger, more diverse workforce for tomorrow by taking ownership and committing to excellence. Our current condition is we're maintaining a qualified, diverse workforce. It was made very clear to our class on the first week on Friday afternoon that the hiring process is broken and it needs to be fixed. So that's what we're here to do today. Our current process is very time-consuming. It takes the supervisors many hours to develop interview guides and get ready for each interview. And instead of us being with our teams and develop our teams, we are working to get interviews ready. We also need to maintain a strong and consistent job description for each department. We also would like to ensure that we hire candidates with diverse backgrounds, which will allow us to grow and formulate new ideas for the future. For example, we can go to the GI Go Fund, and they can help us get new military employees in here that would help strengthen our company. So our recommendation is to implement HireView throughout the company. HireView is already being used by some departments, and it's been a great asset to the departments that are using it. HireView is an internet-based pre-screening that allows us to see the future of the company. We get to give questions to the candidates, and they get to answer back. They send it back to us in a video recording, so we get to see how they are acting. It allows us to see if they're demonstrating the core values that we want as a company. It also allows for trigger questions to ensure that PSEG is attracting diverse and a talented pool of candidates. Within this, we could also make questions that are trigger questions that will eliminate people that just maybe not have the right fit for this position. It also allows for each department to determine the questions that they want. This way, when the candidate comes in and gets that job, we know that they're going to succeed in that role. How will this help fill the Frontline Supervisor People Strong Toolbox? It's the first step in a cost-effective way to screen the future of our company. It has time-saving measures, which will help the first-line supervisor with their time and the company with money. It will also help with reduction in average time to fill an open position. It also help us with first-year retention as well. We can work with HR to develop job postings that are specific for each department, which is very important, so we know we're getting the employee that we need. I'd like to give you an example of how HireView worked for me in my department. Recently, the call center in Long Island had 40 vacancies. So we went out, put a job posting out. We received back 1,400 video interviews. Out of those 1,400 interviews, 800 were left after the knockout questions. So that's 600 people that we eliminated, and we didn't have to interview because they just weren't right for our role and for the position we were looking for. So out of those 800, I was lucky enough to work with Stephanie McConnell, my manager, and my coworker, Shirley Meehan, and we sat down and we viewed every single video. Out of those videos, knocked that down to another 125. So it's 125 people that we want to interview live that we know will be right for our company. So we had a one-day interview palooza where 100 people passed that test, and we were able to hire our 40 people, which is great. Now we hired these 40 people. Does anybody know how long this may have taken? Any idea how long that process might have been to go through 800 people? Anyone else? No? No? All right. Well, it took us 6 days. 5 days to review, 1 day to interview. So that was pretty impressive. I'm very proud of that department that we had there. All right. So we did some improvement metrics. It's going to be a pre-interview screening and testing. We can see and hear what the candidate is exhibiting and see if their traits are PSEG core values. We get to reach out to a diverse community by using social media to recruit. This will help us with the millennials, which will be 70% of our workforce within the next 10 years. We can also word questions differently, like, besides English, what other languages are you fluent in? This will help other departments that have maybe different ethnic backgrounds. So in benchmarking, we did some pretty interesting, if you look up here, we see that the Red Sox use higher view, Ocean Spray. So with the Red Sox, they had a 75% reduction in time to hire. The Northwest Company, which is a food distributor out west, they've reduced their cost to hire by 22%. And Percolate, which is a software company, 90% reduction in time in coordinating interviews. That's all time back to the company and time back to your frontline supervisors. So in all, with all the higher view companies, they had a 28% less turnover rate. Does anybody know what that means for PSEG?
Retention.
Retention. All right, so right now, I'd like to just show you a little clip that we created that will just show you what it looks like when the supervisors and the managers get to look at the higher view process.
Welcome to Higher View. You have been pre-selected to answer candidate questions for PSEG. Question number 1. What values can you bring to PSEG?
As far as values go, I think respecting others' point of view, also very hardworking and goal-driven.
Question number 2. Why do you want to work for PSEG?
I really want to be an engaged member of a winning team, and I think I can get that at PSEG.
Okay, guys, we've just had the opportunity to review a higher view candidate for PSEG position. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being earned a formal interview, how would you like to rate her?
I'll rate her at 5. I think she's an asset to our company.
I'll give her a 4.5. I understand, I agree, and I also rate her as a 5. I think we should bring her in for a 4. Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good morning. Everybody's here today. Good to see everyone. My name's Sean Cannon. I work for PSEG Palisades Division. I'm an electric senior environmental specialist. So, what's a first impression? Somebody give a definition of a first impression. Anybody? Robin.
What you think of the person upon your first meeting or speaking?
Right, and how important is that first impression? Very important. Right, and it sets the bar, right? And you can only go up from there, you hope, correct? So the next part of our improvement process, or what we would like to improve upon, is what we called welcoming, which is a recommendation on improving the onboarding process here at PSEG. So for instance, a few days ago, I had to buy a suit, right? I lost a little bit of weight over the past few months, about 30 pounds, right? So my suit didn't fit anymore. I went to Men's Warehouse. I got a good deal. Got fitted, and Dave helped me out with. He helped me pick it up. We've been working so hard for the past week trying to get this this thing together, and he actually enlisted one of his employees to help me out and pick the suit up. So I have my suit. I got up this morning on time. I got a shower. I got ready, and I'm here. So the point I'm trying to make is that the first impression takes preparation. Do all of you agree with that? Right. So we have 3 recommendations that we would like to make. The primary recommendation is what we would like to call the welcoming committee. Okay, it's just a simple concept. The welcoming committee would consist of an HR representative, the first line supervisor, and what we call an IT ambassador. Okay, and the idea is that they at least have a conference call 30 days prior to the employee joining PSEG. And we've already made the decision to hire them, and everybody just checks in and makes sure everything is prepared for that employee. That for when they start, that we're ready to go. There's a schedule that's set. There's all the tools are in place. The IT professional will confirm everything's together, and they're ready for that employee. And the second part of the welcoming committee's job is 30 days after that employee has been hired, that they have another conference call, or a meeting if possible, but just a conference call with the first line supervisor, the HR representative, the IT professional, and this time the employee and the buddy, the employee's assigned buddy, which is a system that already exists here at PSEG. And they just confirm to make sure that the onboarding process went smoothly and that they feel prepared to start their career at PSEG. Okay. So we have an existing onboarding process, but in agreement with PSEG's core value of continuous improvement and in support of People Strong, we'd like to make those recommendations. Okay. Now this is a product that we came up with called the Buddy Profile. And what the Buddy Profile is it's a questionnaire, or it's similar to a Facebook profile, but it's a document that would be handed out when we've made a decision to hire that employee and bring them into PSEG. And it has personal information. It's a completely voluntary form, but it would help us get to know that employee. It has questions about their hobbies, their interests, maybe religious affiliations, anything. Again, it's entirely voluntary, and it would just help us get to know that individual and to prepare them, and would help in selecting the appropriate buddy. And the first line supervisor could use this as a tool for that, to maybe find someone that would fit that individual. So all you guys up here, anybody stay in a hotel recently, past 30 days, 3 months, anyone? Mr. Braun, on your desk when you went into the hotel, what did you have? You have your little workstation. What was sitting on top of your desk? There's a binder, right? And what did that binder have in it?
Just had some logistical information about the hotel, the different services, and the local community. Right. So our recommendation is, thank you. Our recommendation is simple. We created what we call the first day arrival guide, okay? And what that is just like your hotel book, except that it's a guidebook that's tailored to the individual and tailored to that specific work location that has important information. It has a floor plan. It has a contact list that's relevant to that person, not just a phone book type list. It's something that's actually useful, have their team members on that contact list so they know who's important to contact. It'll also have a schedule that'll detail out their first 30 days of employment. So I know that when some of us started, we kind of had a few things planned out that that we were supposed to do some training, but it lacked a little bit of structure, and there were some times where we spent a few hours in certain days really not doing anything, just trying to maybe surf the PSEG website, or et cetera. This would have a set schedule for that individual. It would also have information on employee resource groups to get that individual engaged with the community, and just to give them more of a personal experience at PSEG. So we came up with this idea pretty much organically. We all are fairly recent hires. We've had one that's been here for 13 years, but
most of us have been here within the past 5 years at the longest. So we came up with these ideas just based on our own experiences and how we felt a little bit lost, in our first few weeks here at PSEG. So let's see this. Let's see our recommendations in action.
Lisa, good morning and welcome to the PSEG family. How are you?
Good.
Great. Listen, as your supervisor, it's my job to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to be successful.
Okay.
Now, I perused your buddy profile and we decided to match you up with Mark. Mark is going to be your buddy. He's going to show you around and answer any questions that you may have over the next couple of days. So Mark, if you please, just give her the tour.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let's go to lunch. I have your arrival guide right here, and we can discuss this over lunch.
Sounds good.
It looks like you need to use the restroom too, so let's go stop by one on the way there.
Thanks.
Sure.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Doug Vitale. I work in business assurance and resilience as an information assurance and forensic expert. So by a show of hands, how many people feel confident enough that they could walk into Ralph Izzo's office and talk to him for an hour about People Strong? Okay. So, besides our HR folks. So that's why we're here. And part of what we wanted to promote for the People Strong culture was just that, to promote it out to our people as first-line supervisors. So we want to raise awareness, obviously. Now, People Strong has been really enacted since the beginning of the year, but as we could see, not a lot of people know about it. So what can we do to solve that? Well, first of all, our recommendation would be to create a People Strong team. So what that would be that the first-line supervisor will be instrumental in creating a team in their workspace focused on employee engagement, People Strong engagement activities, such as employee outings, summer hours, volunteer work in the community. So about 5 years ago, Mike Pazinski, Vice President of Business Assurance and Resilience, had that vision and created an employee engagement team in our department. I've had the honor of being a part of that team for 3 years and leading the team for 1 year. And some of the initiatives we had summer hours. We had the Comfort Speaking Up initiative last year, where we conducted 2C meetings, VP open door sessions, skip level meetings. We also did volunteer work out in the community, specifically with Children's Specialized Hospital, which for me was very rewarding. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, we spent a full 8-hour day out at the hospital. Ralph Izzo came out, and he helped us take care of our tasks. And some of those tasks included changing batteries in the kids' toys, folding the kids' laundry, just interacting with the patients and the families. And again, I took a lot out of that. So we would look for frontline supervisors to go to their respective departments and create this team. As a matter of fact, the first thing I want to do when I get back on Monday, besides going through my 12,000 emails, with your blessing, Mike, would be to change the name of our team to the People Strong team, if that's okay. And I'll make a recommendation to our team members for that. Our second recommendation would be a People Strong newsletter. So you have the team, and they set up all the initiatives. How are you going to get the word out to the employees? So we do that here in Business Assurance and Resilience, and I have a copy in front of everybody of a sample newsletter. So the newsletter will contain information on maybe ERGs, employee resource groups, community activities that are coming up for that time period, as well as did you know about something throughout the company. And we think this will be a good way to get the word out to the employees. Obviously, we know we can't get everyone in for a meeting, but we could email this out or post it at their work locations. And our third recommendation would be to create a People Strong reference guide. How many people have tried looking for the ERG information on the PSEG homepage? I know I tried doing that this past 3 weeks, and it took like 30 mouse clicks just to find out where that information is. So our recommendation would be on the PSEG homepage, have a one-stop guide for all the initiatives that occur in the corporate world, as well as the initiatives that we're recommending today. So it would be a hyperlink for HireView, and you would just click that link and it would take you right to the website. So that's our recommendation, and we hope to roll that out. Now, how is it going to help us? Well, it's going to help us by, as first-line supervisors, keeping our people engaged. And why is that important? Because an engaged workforce is a productive workforce, and that's our role as first-line supervisors, to go out and engage our workforce. And again, here's a copy of our newsletter, which you have in front of you. Let's see how engaged Lisa is on our first day at work.
Hey Lisa, how are you?
Good.
I noticed on your buddy profile that it says you enjoy running.
Yes.
Are you aware that PSEG has several groups that run year round?
No, I had no idea.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was reading the newsletter today. And I saw that the Marcus Downs is doing a 5K run next Saturday. Is that something you may be interested in?
I would definitely be interested in something like that.
Well, Pat Meehan is the point of contact for this in case you want any more information. His desk is right next to the bathroom, if you remember where that is, right?
Yes, I know where the bathroom is.
All right, see you then.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Daniel Hauk, and I'm a nuclear shift supervisor at the Salem Power Generating Station. So we looked at getting people into the company, welcoming them, getting them engaged from a outside the company point of view. But as myself and some of our team members have discussed, and I've heard other leaders discuss, when you want to take that next step and you're not sure exactly how to get there, or you want to give a little bit more to the company, you may want a tool to further develop. And we came up with a development program. Our objective was to provide an adaptable tool for the first line supervisor to engage and improve their team players and find out what it is they hope to achieve and enable them to achieve it. The current condition at PSEG is we have a second quarter voluntary turnover rate of 2.76% or almost 2.8%. We're seeing an annual turnover rate voluntary of 4.7 and 3% for both mast and union employees. And we also know that we have an unprecedented 1,000 jobs posted currently that we're trying to fill. Given these facts, and that we know we're going to have a lot of new faces who may not get the engagement they're looking for in our current Empower process, that process is good at developing and tracking people's progress, but a more continuous feedback model may be what we're suggesting in the development card. The development task card, as we've called it, or development card, is something that the person that's hoping to improve their position or something that they want to work on would work with their first line supervisor and their management team and peers to move forward with their skills. It's an adaptable guide for increasing employee engagement and success. The card has 4 elements to it. It has a goal-defining chart with 5 questions, 2 of which you can see on the board presented. To what kind of activities are you naturally drawn? What do you get paid to do? Some of the other questions are, what do you get a kick out of? What would you hope to accomplish? So these questions kind of start the conversation with the individual seeking guidance and the person that feels they can offer the guidance to kind of frame what it is they hope to achieve. The next thing is goal accomplishment guidelines. It's a framework that's adaptable that will allow the individuals to discuss who they need to speak to and what they need to do in order to accomplish their goal. Then the activities would be formed by the person seeking development and the person helping them to how they will do that. And then at the end, activity verification to track the completion of the activities agreed upon. It's not a complex thing, but it kind of helps more wrap up an idea for pursuit. And if I wouldn't, the reason I stepped to this question was I've had great teachers, mentors, both in my previous profession and where I work now, that have helped me craft and come to these conclusions. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my interaction with those people. And with that, I'd like to show a quick view of what that might look like.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Tom.
At PSEG, we are very focused on continuous improvement. So are there any tasks or any skills you'd like to work on?
Well, I'm a very shy person, and I have issues speaking in public, so I think I could work on my presentation skills.
Well, you know what? I just happen to know an individual in the company who's excellent public speaker. I could pair you up with that person, and we can get your training underway. Or if you like, you know, a classroom setting perhaps, we could sign you up for classes.
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, why don't we do this? Let's take this task card here, we'll fill it out, and we'll meet next week, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
Now, always remember, when in doubt,
Just twirl.
okay.
So we've just talked about quite a number of tools for the first line supervisor People Strong toolbox that we think are a good idea, but of course we have to prove it. So how are we going to measure that these tools work? The main indicator that there's some impact from employing these tools is going to be through the engagement survey. Some other more specific measurables is that we could use the promotion tools of People Strong to train all first-line supervisors by the end of the year. We could look for an 85% positive feedback on that onboarding process. We could see a 10% rise in employee engagement scores on the ERG membership by this December. We could see an increase in community outreach, which would be measured by more employees going and asking for those 8 hours of paid time to get out into their communities and volunteer. And we could also see a 33% decrease in first-year turnover. Just to review all of those recommendations again, we would start with the hire review process to allow first-line supervisors to be involved in the hiring process in a more economical, from a time perspective way. Then they would go into the welcoming committee. We could use that buddy profile to make sure that they feel like they have somebody to talk to on their first day of work. We could give them that arrival guide so they know where to go to the bathroom. We could use the People Strong team newsletter and reference guide to keep them focused on the fact that we want to be a diverse workforce and that we value that. And then we could get them involved in a development program to help them develop skills to move to the next level, to move to a lateral job somewhere else that they might have been thinking about. Before we go into questions, I would just like to tie that back into what we felt that People Strong was for first-line supervisors. We really believe that that diversity in the workforce is what gives us that team that is going to be the most successful workforce and the most productive workforce that we can make. That's why we, as first-line supervisors, are passionate about People Strong. All right, I would like to open up the floor for questions for the team. Any questions? Please.
But the current staffing levels in HR, 1,000 positions to fill, how do you anticipate getting an HR representative at each welcome meeting? Or would you consider allowing other members of the staff to maybe serve as like an adjunct to represent HR, at least have a consistent message to deliver?
I think your point is incredibly fair, and kind of hearing the recommendations, and I'll share some comments about how we in HR can support the implementation of it. But as we know, it takes a village to make all of this happen. And so when folks have passion and interest about getting the job done, where they sit in the organization is flexible and helping to support the success of it.
Thank you.
Don, I saw you first. You go ahead.
I just wanted to ask about the newsletter. There's a lot of newsletter things that already exist in PSEG, and I was just curious if the team considered just making articles for an existing newsletter as opposed to putting out a new one. What was your rationale for getting to the point where you want to develop your own newsletter?
So the question is, do we really need this other newsletter just for People Strong, or can we incorporate it into existing publications?
My name's Aaron Heinzel from PSEG, Power, Connecticut. The reason why when we were talked about that, putting it in different publications that already exist, but due to the company being all the way down South New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, we wanted to foster the different events that might be available in the particular area. So if we're just posting things around Newark, the people in Connecticut, Long Island, down in Nuclear might not be able to be involved with that. So if you have it more localized,
able to communicate with the people that it directly affects. That's what our rationale is for that.
Would you like to go?
I didn't really have a question, but I just wanted to compliment on one of the goals. I think it shows a proper sense of urgency. I think it was 10% increase in employee resource group by the end of the year. I think it's really important that you're working on things like right now. Do something, get it going, get that momentum. So whoever came up with that, the whole team or whoever, that's a great goal. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Please.
Yeah, first I want to say, wow, that's a great job. This is really wonderful with the concepts you guys have come up with regarding employee engagement and retention. I just want to know how quickly are we going to see you guys get on the ground running with this?
So I understand that we're wonderful. Thank you. And the question is, when are we going to implement? David?
Sorry, I can answer that. Dave Roth from VP&C. So on August the 11th, our internal HR process is rolling out interview training for supervisors. So it's August 1st tomorrow. I have 10 days to get with Irene Belinsky and offer some suggestions about how we can roll this out internally here.
Sounds good.
The presentation was great. As a new employee myself, I think everything would benefit whatever level of employee comes in. I especially like the book for the welcome book that gives logistics. One thing that wasn't really talked about but is on the handout was PSEG mentor. Some type of group where you could volunteer for a mentor, because you could be matched up with a mentor from a different department or a different area, and have mentees assigned to you, I think would be a good benefit.
So the question you're asking is are any of these tools adaptable to making a mentoring group?
Yes, or did you consider setting one up?
Who wants to take it?
Daniel Hauk, PSEG Nuclear Salem. So the development card that we came up with, the questions are designed to engage an employee and with another employee to create that mentoring, mentee, mentor program. And the card talks about encouraging, trying to set up a circle. And I don't know if you got that from the card, if you have it there in front of you, but that was our intent. And we felt with the group that we're working with, that the labels mentor and mentee may have a negative connotation. I was strongly opposed to that idea, but I decided to kind of play along with that. And because we don't want it to be seen as a program or like an event. We're trying to build a culture and continuous development. And once you're done with a mentor or mentee, you may never be done, or you could look for another one. And that's kind of, we made it task specific to try to enable that function.
One more question, Tom Kopis.
So I've been to quite a few graduations, and I've seen a lot of really good projects, a lot of great ideas. Sit here and think, how come we haven't thought about those things before? But I have to say that most of the projects I've seen, I've never seen them ever again after the academy. And so I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to challenge all of you that are sitting there that you'll take this project to where you work, and you'll be the champion of it and roll it out. And I mean, if you were there, but if you do that, I think you've got to get the ball rolling on this, because I think it has a lot of value. And so I challenge you to do that. And I know that you and Aaron will meet that challenge, because I'm going to make sure that you
I would just follow up on that point. So, for example, one of your recommendations is higher view, and it sounds like it's being used somewhere in the company. But I think it'll take a substantial effort to make that our company standard. So, Sheila, I think, I'm not sure what portion of this group is going to lead the charge, but there's probably a number of business cases and other presentations that we're going to need to do in order to make this our standard. I'd be glad to get involved with any of the nuclear folks who are going to be part of that team, because it really sounds like it has some real business value to us. That example of finding 40 employees out of hundreds in a week is phenomenal. So that's a great tool. So to your point, yeah, we can say it here, but okay, how do we get it across the goal line, right? So that's, I think, some follow-on work to do. I'm not sure who Sarah and the team has to lead, but I'm interested in supporting.
Okay, thank you. So in the interest of time, for any other questions, hopefully you'll be able to ask those at the reception in the room following the graduation, but let's move along with this now. So, in fact, our key takeaway as a group is, as a first-line supervisor, we have the ability to impact people strong more than any other position in PSEG, and we need to take these tools that we've created and go back to our workspace, and we need to implement them. With that, I would like to ask, and I would like to thank Sheila, too. I think that we are all grateful to you for giving us this charge. We got very passionate about it, and we're excited to go back and do this work, so thank you very much.
I think I speak for the entire audience. I'm feeling pretty proud and people strong right now with the work that you've done. And so as any leader in a function and manager knows, when you have a tough nut to crack, surround yourself with smart people with different perspectives who have passion about the issue to get it resolved. And this is a business case, in the making in terms of a diverse group of people, all backgrounds, all different parts of the company. And as I got to know each and every one of you, you had real passion about this issue. And Tom, to your point, in my opening remarks, I said, look, this is the 21st class I have sat through, 20 graduations. You're going to do right by me and make sure whatever your deliverable is something that's going to be implementable and sustainable. So before you come up with the greatest creative idea, make sure you've gone back to the folks in the organization who you need to ensure they're going to support it and help you see it come to fruition. It just so happens and works out quite nicely, given my current role in the organization, I do have end-of-game responsibility for talent acquisition, for some of the diversity work in the community. So as this group vetted different ideas, I promise you there were some no's and head shakes along the way to say, we're already doing this, or this is not something I can support. And they know that they have my commitment to get in the right venues and forums for making the things that need to happen systemically. You will see that. So from some of the technology uses to some of the recruiting tools. But we also did talk about some of these things. They're not going to wait for me or the HR organization or the enterprise to come along, that every one of them, some will go to work tomorrow, some will take a break after 3 long weeks, but come Monday morning, getting in to their leaders or doors to talk about some of this stuff, getting on agendas of business leaders, all hands meetings to share some of this, so you all can help enable that. I'm going to give them the venue. We've got a very active and growing diversity and inclusion council, again, who has access and entry to move some of these things along. So we are going to have them on one of our upcoming meeting agendas. So the passion and groundswelling is here. I am confident they're going to take it back locally, and they can trust in me to make sure from a systemic thing, those things that we control, we're going to make sure this stuff happens. So congratulations, you did a terrific job. I'm very proud of what you've accomplished and look forward to seeing us achieve those measurable targets by the end of the year and in the coming future for PSEG. So thank all of you.
Sheila, now we move on to the handout. So. Good morning again. I'm Sarah Bowl. I'm a Senior Operations Supervisor in Power New England. My key takeaway from Supervisory Academy is that I have the ability to influence my direct reports more than any other person at my station. I'm going to take that learning back to Power Connecticut and use those influence skills to get those employees more engaged and to make PSEG more people strong.
Morning, everyone. My name is Brian Merkel, Senior Supervisor at the PSEG Long Island Call Center. My key takeaway was becoming a better, more effective public speaker. I feel like this will help me communicate better with my team, my peers, and subordinates. When I get back to Melville, I'd like to be able to lead large projects and join the community partnership team. By doing that, I'd be able to lead town hall meetings out with the customers and be the face of the company.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shazad Khan. I work in the Surveys and Mapping Group in Newark, New Jersey. And my key learning area of the last 3 weeks was motivation. And I learned that unique personal passion drives operational excellence. And when I return to Newark, I will seek to connect the dots for my employees so that they understand the big picture, and then take that big picture, connect it with that personal passion so that they can, as we said, bring their whole self to work and become very enthusiastic behind the goals that we're seeking to achieve. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Leanne Roddy Brissett. I work at Palisades Electric as an office supervisor. My key learning was in the area of accountability. I learned that I, as a supervisor, need to hold my employees more accountable for their actions. When I return to Palisades, I plan to encourage my employees to set SMART goals for themselves so that they can accomplish their goals and their assigned assignments. This in turn will create a more effective and productive work environment.
Good afternoon. My name is Pat Meehan. I work at Salem Hope Creek Generating Station, the Security Operations Supervisor. My key learning that I picked up these few weeks was in the area of accountability. I learned that focusing on the ladder of accountability and being able to better self-assess myself will help lead the people that I engage with on a daily basis closer to the goals of excellence. When I return to Salem Hope Creek, I plan on posting the ladder of accountability in my workspace and instilling that within the people I work with. This action will help build a more engaged and better workforce for the future. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sean Cannon. I'm the PSEG Palisades Electric Division Senior Environmental Specialist. My key learnings from the Supervisory Academy are from the areas of active listening and giving and receiving feedback. I learned how to listen to my employees and colleagues so they feel respected and engaged, and how to provide feedback using active listening and the coach model. When I return to Palisades, I plan on having regular meetings with my direct reports and using these tools to foster a more respectful and positive work environment. This will result in a more engaged, satisfied, and efficient workforce.
Good morning again. My name is Doug Vitale. I work in business assurance and resilience as an information assurance and forensics expert. My key learning from the Supervisory Academy is in delegating tasks. I learned that if I delegate tasks and responsibilities to my direct reports, I could spend more time on my management activities. When I return to the general office, I plan on delegating all open and future tasks to my direct reports, which would allow me to focus on management activities and in turn teach them responsibility and develop their new skills and have them achieve their goals.
Good morning. My name is Tamisha Butler. I work at Northern Inquiry Call Center as a customer solutions supervisor. And my key learnings is the area of active listening. I've learned that active listening promotes stronger communication. When I return back to Northern Inquiry, I plan to conduct effective meetings. This will result in giving and receiving feedback, also develops an honest and trustworthy environment.
Good morning. My name is Aaron Heinzel. I'm a generation supervisor, PSEG Power Connecticut. My key learnings were in the area of situational leadership. I learned that different employees have different needs and learning styles. When I return to Connecticut, I plan to tailor my leadership style, motivation, and talent. This will result in a more productive, engaged workforce.
Good morning. My name is Dave Roth. I work here in delivery projects and construction as the manager of the permitting group. My key learning is providing direct feedback. I learned that improving active listening enables me to provide effective feedback. When I return here to my position at Hadley Road, I will begin positive direct feedback with my team. I believe that this will set standards, drive accountability, and form a more cohesive team.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Gallagher, and I am currently working at the Salem Generating Station as a chemistry supervisor. My key takeaway from the Supervisory Academy was in the area of communications, where I learned that communication is primarily visual in nature. When I return to Salem, I plan to more proactively speak out at meetings if I feel I have something meaningful to contribute. This will result in an increased diversity of opinion within my department.
Hi, my name is Tom Montefusco. I'm a Materials Management Supervisor, Palisades Electric Division. My key takeaway was communication. I realized I have to be a better active listener. When I go back to my team, I plan on having open forums on a weekly basis to let everyone air the dirty laundry and try to fix anything that's going on. I think this will result in a better, more positive workforce who will be willing to give feedback and input.
Good morning again, everyone. I'm Daniel Hauk. I work at Salem Nuclear Generating Station as a nuclear shift supervisor. My key learning during this past 3-week academy was that of team building. I learned that teams are almost always more effective in solving complex and difficult problems, and also it can make it a little more fun. When I return to nuclear Salem, I will get together with the other employees who will be entering in the next initial licensing and operator training class, and I will discuss with them the things that we still need to do in our orientation and invite them to help me with mine and I with them to get a fuller and better understanding of the things that we're going to be doing. This will allow us to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses and hopefully complete our training and licensing class in a more full and effective measure.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Fitzgerald. I work at PSEG Long Island as a senior field supervisor in substation maintenance Hicksville. My key learning is in the area of time management. I learned that I need to continually prioritize to incorporate high priority unexpected tasks. When I return to Hicksville, I plan to implement a daily task list that allows for the flexibility to incorporate planned and unexpected work. This will result in greater efficiency in completing unplanned assignments delegated to me and my team.
Morning, my name is Chris Fries. I work at the Linden Combined Cycle Plant, and I'm a generation supervisor. My key learning was in effective communication. I believe through active listening and feedback, I'll be able to return to I'll be able to be better understood. When I return to the plant, I expect to engage my employees and utilize these newly learned skills. This will help promote an open and honest dialogue and hopefully better production for myself and my employees. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Gustavo Olm, Nuclear Shift Supervisor at Salem Generating Station. My key learning was in the area of engagement. I learned the importance of providing timely feedback to my employees. And when I return to Salem, I will continue to provide not only timely feedback, but do a better job of explaining the reasons why or why not a certain employee's input was or was not taken and implemented. Sometimes employees make suggestions and we end up not implementing them. And I feel it's important to make sure the employee knows the reason behind that. This will result in a continued willingness to bring forth safety concerns.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Cortez. I work at Mercer Generating Station as a Senior Operations Supervisor. My key learning is an area of giving and receiving effective feedback. I learned that active listening and giving constructive feedback helps improve communication and engagement in the workforce. When I return to Mercer Generating Station, I plan to utilize this communication skill in the meetings that I attend and with the interaction with the people there. This will result in improved communication and engagement between myself and the various groups at the site.
Hello, my name is Mark Lachenzi. I'm an electrical maintenance supervisor at Hope Creek Nuclear Generating Station. My key learning was in the area of giving and receiving feedback. I learned that the use of feedback is a very useful tool and can create an open environment inside of the team that we can continually improve upon. When I get back, I plan on sharing my experience here with my team and explain to them what I've learned about giving and receiving feedback. And that should and will create a better open environment, open communications, and create a more focused team.
Hello, my name is Lisa Perks. I'm Work Week Manager at Hope Creek Generating Station. My key learning is in the area of accountability. I've learned that if you hold others accountable, they will obtain better results. When I return to Hope Creek, I plan on utilizing the ladder of accountability to empower and engage my workforce.
My name is Adam Abrams. I work at Salem Generating Station as a nuclear shift supervisor. My key learning is in the area of managing agreement. I learned that not disagreeing with a bad idea can be as bad as overtly agreeing with the bad idea. When I return to Salem, I plan to complete the Senior Reactor Operator licensing process and encourage critical thinking and open communications in my teams. This will result in continuous improvement towards our reduction of chilling effect goals and overall improvement in the safety culture.
Thank you, Sheila.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes your graduation ceremony for Supervisory Academy 21, and I would like to invite you to a reception across the hall in the Aruba Room. Thank you.